Why you're broke and drained without knowing it. What if I told you that your spending habits are keeping you stuck? Not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Think about it. How many times have you bought something, felt excited for a moment, and then completely forgotten about it days later? Or worse, felt guilty, wondering why you even spent the money in the first place? We live in a time where buying is easier, faster, and more addictive than ever before. One-click purchases, same-day deliveries, social media ads tailored so precisely they feel like they're reading your mind. And the worst part? Most of us don't even realize we're trapped in a spending cycle we didn't choose. Companies have spent billions studying human psychology, designing every sale, ad, and product to manipulate our emotions. They know exactly how to trigger that quick rush of dopamine, making us feel like we need something now, before we even have a chance to question it. And that's exactly how they keep us broke. But let's get one thing clear. The problem isn't spending money, it's mindless spending. It's swiping your card without thinking. It's confusing wants with needs. It's letting someone else decide how you should spend your hard-earned money instead of making those choices for yourself. The result? You work hard for your money, but it never seems like enough. No matter how much you earn, you feel like you're always chasing, trying to catch up, trying to have more, do more, keep up. But let me ask you something. When was the last time a purchase truly made you happier? Not just for a day or two, but in a lasting, meaningful way? Here's the truth. Spending money can make you happy, but only when done intentionally. And that's what we're talking about today. Mindful spending and conscious consumerism. Because once you master this, you won't just save money. You'll feel free. Free from financial stress. Free from the pressure to keep up. Free to spend on what actually brings you happiness, instead of wasting money on things that leave you feeling empty. So let's break it down. Why we overspend, how we can stop, and the powerful shift that will change not just your financial future, but your entire way of living. The hidden cost of mindless spending. Why you feel broke. No matter what you earn every day, we make financial decisions, big and small, without even realizing the full impact they have on our lives. It's easy to think that spending a few extra dollars here and there doesn't matter. A coffee on the way to work. A quick online order when you're bored. That limited time sale that felt too good to pass up. But here's the truth. Those small decisions aren't harmless. They add up, and they're costing you more than just money. Let's break it down. 1. Your money is disappearing, but you don't know where it's going. Have you ever checked your bank statement at the end of the month and felt shocked at how much you spent without even realizing it? You tell yourself, I don't spend that much, but when you actually look at the numbers, reality hits. 1. The little purchases. That $10 coffee run 3 times a week? 1. That's over $1,500 a year. 2. The impulse buys. An extra $40 on Amazon because of that buy now button? 2. Multiply that by a few times a month, and you're throwing away thousands annually. 3. The subscriptions you forgot about. Streaming services, app memberships, premium accounts. Things you barely use but still pay for. Before you know it, your money is vanishing into things that don't actually improve your life. And the worst part? You barely remember buying half of it. 2. You're paying for instant gratification with your future. Every time you make an impulse purchase, your brain rewards you with a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It's the same brain response triggered by gambling, social media, and even certain drugs. This is why shopping feels exciting in the moment, but that excitement fades fast. And to get that feeling again, you spend more. Meanwhile, your future self is paying the price. Every dollar you spend on impulse purchases is a dollar you could have invested, saved, or used for something meaningful. Think about this. If you saved just $5 a day instead of spending it mindlessly, you'd have over $100 to $800 in a year. Now imagine putting that into an investment account. In 10 years, that could be worth over $25,000, all from cutting out small, unnecessary purchases. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not just about the money. It's about what mindless spending robs you of. 1. The ability to travel more. 2. The freedom to quit a job you hate. 3. The chance to build real wealth instead of living paycheck to paycheck. By choosing short-term pleasure, you're unknowingly trading in your long-term financial freedom. 3. The emotional toll of mindless spending. Ever bought something only to regret it the next day? That sinking feeling, the realization that you spent money on something unnecessary, is a form of buyer's remorse, and it's more common than you think. Why? Because deep down, we know that most of the things we buy don't actually solve our problems. 1. We shop to relieve stress, only to feel stressed about the money we just spent. 2. We buy things to make ourselves feel successful, only to realize that success isn't about what we own. 3. We chase trends, trying to keep up, only to feel exhausted, always needing more. It's an endless cycle, and businesses love it. Because as long as you keep feeling like you need to buy more, they win, and you lose. 4. The marketing tricks that keep you trapped. Companies don't want you to be a mindful spender. In fact, they spend billions every year to make sure you don't think before you buy. Have you ever wondered why? 1. Sales are always labeled as limited time or only 3 left in stock. 1. Urgency makes you panic buy. 2. You feel excited to unlock free shipping at $50, so you spend more. 2. They know you'll add extra items just to hit the threshold. 3. You see ads for something right after talking about it. 3. They track your data and target your emotions. Nothing about modern consumerism is accidental. The more you spend without thinking, the richer they become, and the more financially trapped you stay. But the good news? You can break free. The first step is realizing that spending money doesn't make you free. Spending wisely does. So let's talk about what mindful spending actually looks like, and how shifting your mindset can completely transform your financial future. What is mindful spending? The financial superpower you've been ignoring. Mindful spending isn't about deprivation. It's not about cutting out everything fun or never treating yourself. It's about one simple, powerful idea: spending with intention. It means every dollar you spend has a purpose. It aligns with your values, your long-term goals, and what actually brings you happiness. It means replacing impulse buys with intentional choices, where you're in control, not your emotions or marketing tricks. Think of it this way: your money is energy. Every time you spend, you're deciding what you want to fuel in your life. So the question is, are you fueling things that truly matter to you, or are you throwing energy into things that don't? Let's break it down. The difference between mindful spending and mindless spending. Take a second and think about your last 5 purchases. Did you plan them? Or were they spur-of-the-moment decisions? Most people don't realize that mindless spending is a habit, one that we've been conditioned into by society, social media, and consumer culture. Here's the difference between how most people spend and how mindful spenders make financial decisions. Examples of mindless spending: buying on impulse, without giving it much thought. Shopping to fill an emotional void, stress, boredom, loneliness. Letting sales, trends, and ads dictate purchases. Confusing wants with needs, feeling regret or guilt after buying. Mindful spending. Taking a moment to ask yourself, do I really need this? Spending only when it aligns with personal values and goals. Making purchases based on need, quality, and long-term satisfaction. Knowing that not everything desirable is necessary. Feeling in control and satisfied with purchases. Mindful spending doesn't mean you can't buy things you love. It just means you stop letting your emotions control your wallet. Because here's the truth. When you spend mindlessly, you never feel like you have enough. But when you spend mindfully, you realize you don't need as much as you thought. Why mindful spending is the key to financial freedom. Most people think that financial freedom comes from earning more money. And while earning more can help, it's not the real solution. Think about it. How many people do you know who make a good salary but still feel broke? How many celebrities or athletes have gone bankrupt despite earning millions? That's because financial freedom isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and how intentionally you use it. Mindful spending gives you control over your finances, no matter how much you earn. It allows you to 1. Stop feeling stressed about money. When you know exactly where your money is going, there's no more guilt or regret after purchases. 1. You feel empowered, not trapped. 2. Afford more of what actually makes you happy. Instead of wasting money on things you don't need, you can invest in experiences, hobbies, and purchases that truly bring value to your life. 3. Build long-term wealth. Mindful spending frees up money to invest, save, and create financial stability without sacrificing happiness. 4. Break free from the consumerism trap. You stop living for the next sale, the next trendy item, or the next shopping spree. 4. Instead, you start living for your own priorities. The real question isn't, can I afford this? It's, is this worth it to me? How to start practicing mindful spending. So, how do you actually apply mindful spending in your daily life? It starts with asking better questions before you spend. 1. Ask yourself, do I truly need this? Before buying anything, pause and ask, 1. Is this something I planned for, or am I buying on impulse? 2. Does this align with my financial goals? 3. Will this actually improve my life, or will it just add clutter? If you can't answer yes with confidence, you probably don't need it. 2. Use the 48-hour rule for non-essential purchases. Wait 48 hours before buying. This gives your brain time to process whether you actually want something, or if it was just a momentary urge. You'd be surprised how often you realize you don't actually need it after the excitement fades. 3. Focus on cost per use. Instead of just price, cheap isn't always better. Instead of just looking at the price tag, ask, 1. How long will this last? 2. How often will I use it? 3. Is this a high-quality investment or something disposable? For example, a $20 fast fashion shirt that falls apart in 2 washes is more expensive than a $100 high-quality sweater you'll wear for years. 4. Track your spending, even the small purchases. Most people only track their big expenses, rent, bills, car payments, but small daily purchases are what drain your money. Try tracking every dollar you spend for a month. You'll quickly see where your money is disappearing and where you can make better choices. 5. Align your spending with your values. What do you truly care about? Travel, health, personal growth, investing? Spend on those things. Cut out everything else. If you don't care about designer fashion, don't buy it just to impress others. If a $5 coffee every morning brings you real joy, keep it, but cut out purchases that don't. The goal is to spend in a way that makes your life better, not in a way that impresses strangers. Mindful spending will more freedom, not less. A lot of people resist the idea of mindful spending because they think it means they have to give up everything they enjoy, but it's the opposite. Mindful spending isn't about spending less, it's about spending smarter. It's about eliminating wasteful spending so you can afford more of what you love. Making financial decisions you control, not your emotions or marketing tactics. Feeling more fulfilled and less stressed about money, and the best part? The more mindful you are with your money, the more freedom you gain. Freedom to quit the job you hate. Freedom to travel more. Freedom to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Freedom to invest in a life you actually love. So next time you reach for your wallet, pause. Ask yourself, am I buying this because I truly want it, or because I've been conditioned to think I need it? Because the moment you start spending mindfully, that's the moment you start creating real financial freedom. The science behind spending and happiness. Why buying more won't make you happier. For years, we've been sold the idea that more money equals more happiness. We chase the next big paycheck, the dream house, the luxury car, believing that once we reach a certain level of wealth, we'll finally feel fulfilled. But science tells a different story. It turns out money does buy happiness, but only up to a certain point. After that, more spending doesn't equal more joy. In fact, in many cases, it does the opposite. So why does spending feel good in the moment, yet leave us feeling empty later? Why do we always want more, even when we already have more than enough? And how can we start using money in a way that actually creates happiness, instead of just chasing it? Let's break down the psychology behind spending and how you can rewire your financial habits for real fulfillment. Why buying things feels good. At first. Ever notice that rush of excitement when you buy something new? That instant feeling of satisfaction, like you've achieved something? That's dopamine at work, your brain's natural reward chemical. Dopamine is released when we experience pleasure, anticipation, or reward. It's the same chemical that lights up when we eat delicious food, get a social media notification, or accomplish a goal. And shopping? It's one of the biggest dopamine triggers of all. Here's how it works. 1. Anticipation triggers excitement. Even before you buy something, your brain starts releasing dopamine. 1. That's why browsing online stores, adding items to your cart, or imagining your new purchase feels just as good, if not better, than actually owning it. 2. The purchase feels like a win. When you buy something, your brain rewards you with an extra dopamine hit, reinforcing the idea that spending equals pleasure. 3. The excitement fades quickly. Here's the catch. Dopamine doesn't last. 3. The thrill of a new purchase fades, and soon you're back to your baseline happiness level, sometimes even lower. This is why we keep buying. We think, maybe the next purchase will make me happier. But the cycle never ends. And guess what? Companies know this. They design products and marketing campaigns to keep you chasing the next dopamine hit, keeping you stuck in an endless loop of spending. But here's what they don't want you to know. You don't need to keep buying things to feel good. You just need to learn how to spend in a way that actually increases long-term happiness. The $75,000 happiness rule. How much money do you actually need? In 2010, a study from Princeton University found something shocking. Money does increase happiness, but only up to about $75,000 a year. After that, more income doesn't significantly improve day-to-day happiness. Why? Because once your basic needs are covered, housing, food, security, health, extra money doesn't change your overall well-being. Think about it. 1. If you're struggling to pay rent, an extra $10,000 a year would relieve stress and make life easier. 2. But if you're already comfortable, an extra $10,000 won't dramatically improve your happiness. It just gives you more stuff. This explains why some of the richest people in the world are still unhappy. Money can provide comfort and security, but after a certain point, it's how you spend it that matters, not how much you have. Why experiences bring more happiness than things. So if money alone doesn't buy happiness, what does? According to research, the answer is simple: experiences. Studies show that spending money on experiences, rather than material things, creates deeper, longer-lasting happiness. Here's why. 1. Experiences create memories. A new phone loses its excitement after a few months. 1. But a trip with loved ones. 1. That memory lasts forever. 2. Experiences strengthen relationships. Shared experiences, travel, concerts, dinners, bring people closer. 2. And strong relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term happiness. 3. Experiences shape who you are. You remember the vacations you took, the skills you learned, the adventures you had, not the shoes you bought 5 years ago. Next time you're about to spend money, ask yourself, will this bring me lasting happiness or just short-term pleasure? How to spend in a way that actually increases happiness. So, if impulse spending doesn't bring real happiness, but meaningful purchases do, how do you change your habits? Here's how to start using money in a way that actually improves your life. 1. Spend on experiences, not things. Instead of spending money on stuff that loses value over time, invest in experiences that enrich your life. 1. Travel. 2. Learning new skills. 3. Events with friends and family. 4. Hobbies and passions. These bring far greater fulfillment than anything you can buy in a store. 2. Buy time, not just things. What's more valuable than money? Time. Use your money to 1. Outsource tasks you hate, cleaning, grocery delivery, etc., to free up time. 2. Reduce working hours if possible to focus on things you love. 3. Invest in things that bring you more time, like online courses that teach you skills for financial freedom. 3. Give money away. Yes, really. Studies show that spending money on others brings greater happiness than spending on yourself. When people use their money to 1. Help friends or family. 2. Donate to causes they care about. 3. Support communities in need. They report feeling happier, more fulfilled, and more connected to others. 4. Make purchases that align with your values. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, does this align with what truly matters to me? 1. If you love sustainability, invest in high-quality, ethical brands instead of fast fashion. 2. If you value personal growth, spend on books, courses, or mentorship rather than mindless entertainment. 3. If you care about health, invest in nutritious food and fitness instead of cheap, processed junk. Aligning your spending with your values makes every dollar feel more meaningful. Final thought. Stop chasing happiness. Start creating it. We've been trained to believe that happiness is just one purchase away, That once we have the perfect house, car, wardrobe, or salary, we'll finally feel satisfied. But that's a lie. The truth is, happiness isn't something you buy, it's something you create. And the way you spend your money plays a huge role in that. So next time you're about to make a purchase, pause. Ask yourself, 1. Am I buying this for a short-term thrill or for long-term happiness? 2. Is this an impulse, or does this actually align with my values? 3. Could this money be used in a way that makes my life better, truly better? Because once you start spending with intention, you stop chasing happiness and start building it.